Go for the hard stuff, man. The big puddle's coming up next.
Ooh, I can't wait.
You know, Nathan, this Kia lives in a very competitive market space. I mean, it competes with cars like the RAV4, the Edge, the Equinox, and of course the Nissan Murano. So they really have to step up their game to compete, and I think they've done a great job.
Aside from the excellent suspension, and it really is much better, I absolutely love the new V6. It feels great. And by the way, folks, I sat in the middle row and I do fit behind myself. It's a little bit tight, but remember, this is not a very big 3-row crossover.
You know, I've been driving this car all week, and I have to tell you, the 6-speed automatic transmission is just wonderful. It shifts smoothly, and there's a manual mode, so if you do want to shift it yourself, you can.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it personally, even off-road. I don't know, I have it in lock and automatic. I have it just left alone, and it's been doing a very good job.
In terms of price, it's competitive. You know, this one starts at about $35,000, and you got to throw in $1,700 for the all-wheel drive system. So it's not inexpensive by any means. Holy cow!
Shizer! Wow, we just went through a lot of water.
We did go through a lot of water. So you know, it can cost you up to $38,000. It's not inexpensive anymore.
You're getting a lot of vehicle for the money, and they're really good about giving you standard equipment that other vehicles simply don't.
Yeah, I mean, we've got heated and cooled seats in the front.
Yep.
We've got heated seats in the row behind us. We've got 115 volt AC power outlet. We've got parking distance control. We've got blind spot monitoring. I mean, I can go on and on. There's just pretty much everything that you could think of. The coolest thing, I think, is the steering button. Tell them what that does.
Oh, yeah. Steering button's really cool. And they do have this on other Kia products. What you do is, if you want more resistance or less resistance, you can play with the button. It has sport, it has comfort, and it has a normal setting, right? Yeah.
So in sport mode, it firms it up like a sports car. In normal mode, it's normal. And of course, if you want that old Lincoln Continental feel,
yeah, steer it with one finger.
Just hit comfort. I think it's pretty cool. At first, I thought it was a gimmick, but you know, I've been playing with it for a while, and it's fun and entertaining, and you know, it works. I keep it in sport mode. Nathan, we're about to approach our mud puddle.
I know.
Which means we're going to get a little muddy.
Aww. And
give me one word to describe this thing off-road.
Not bad. I know it's 2 words, but okay, what's it?
Capable.
Capable. Well, no, capable is almost like in Jeep. No, it's impressive.
I'm going to say proficient.
Proficient?
Proficient.
No.
Yeah, it's doing well. Look at this. You know, it needs a bit more ground clearance. 7.3 isn't quite enough, but it's doing fine. Let's see how it does in the mud, dude.
Okay, let's do it.
You know, Nathan, people might be wondering why we don't go beyond the mud puddle.
Well, if you're willing to fly in a very large sky crane helicopter to pull us out of whatever trouble we get into, that's part of the reason. The other reason is, quite frankly, look, we're taking it off-road way beyond what 90% of the people who would buy this vehicle would do. And if it does well here, in this particular case it's done very well, then, well, it's going to do really well in snow and muddy roads, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've already been, you know, stuck twice, and I think the third time might be more tragic. I mean, take a look at this. If you think we're just kind of going on a country trail here, I'm going to go out the window here. Nathan's putting in the rear view mirrors.
Yeah, go ahead and have a look.
Yeah, take a look. If Nathan happens to steer right, what happens?
It's a little bit of a drop. Was that about 2,000 feet?
Yeah, I can see the highway down there, Nathan, and that would be a shortcut to the highway that I'm sure the fleet people would not like. And right here, it's actually washed out, so we got to be very careful here because we might be taking that shortcut. Look at that. That is a long way down, my man.
It is, and every time we come here, there's a little bit more missing.
I think we got a few more years before.
A few more, we may have a year if we're lucky. I don't know.
In terms of fuel economy, we're looking at 18 miles to the gallon in the city and 24 on the highway, which is, I think, respectable for something that will carry this many people.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I would say it's mid-level in this market.
But then you do get almost 300 horsepower, and that always puts a huge smile on my face.
Even at high altitude, this baby will get out of its own way, and it does really good when you are passing.
Nathan, I really like this new Sorento. The old one had an Autobahn harsh ride. This one, much more compliant. The interior is elegant. Everything falls to hand. Yeah. It's a good vehicle.
I absolutely agree.
So on the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, what do you give it?
I'm going to give it a lease it, but I'm on the borderline of buy it. The last year model, it was the other way around. I was on the borderline between rent it and lease it. And I'll tell you, if it weren't for the looks, this would be an absolute champ. Otherwise, the V6 in this thing, mwah, excellent.
And I'm going to give it a buy it, and I think you would give the Santa Fe a buy it, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
Well, as always, this is Roman.
And Nathan.
Saying thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for a new video every day. See you next time.
Mwah.
Hey Nathan, how come every time we're up here, this guy in the Toyota comes by and just blows up this hill?
Because that's a proper off-roader, baby. I mean, he doesn't care. He just goes for it. The guy's nuts.
Yeah, plus it's in Europe the old Hilux, right? So it's pretty darn off-road worthy.
Seriously, the guy doesn't care. He just charges, and he's been doing it at least for a year that I know. There it goes.
There it goes.
Just a little tiny bit of momentum got us over that.
You know, Nathan, this does have a lot of electronics basically controlling where the traction goes. And I've always found that kind of system is never as good as just the basic, you know, lock them up and have all four wheels have traction. So there's always like a disconnect between what the car is doing and what you want it to do, right? It takes a while for the car to figure out.
That's true, but the all-wheel drive systems of today are meant for foul weather and for snow, rain, and what have you. So in that way, you don't have to think, because they really are building them for people who don't want to think about it. Whereas when you get an off-road vehicle with proper four-wheel drive system, you do have to consider a few more factors. But you know what? This particular system, it's figuring it out. It's actually working through it, and whatever hasn't worked with just slow speeds, a little bit of momentum helps.
If you're younger than me, and by that I mean, well, in your 20s or 30s or even 40s, you probably know this car. It's the BMW M6, and it is one of BMW's flagship. 560 horsepower, 2 turbos, and more electronics than the space shuttle. At least that's how it feels driving it. But come with me. Over here, this car may look familiar to you. This is one of the first M6s that was brought to America. This is a 1988 BMW M6, and they may look alike, but technologically they're worlds apart. And if you follow me over here, this is even cooler. This is the European BMW M6, 1984, the very first one that started this whole generation of cars. And coming up next on the Fast Lane Car, we're going to learn about all 3 cars by talking with the owners.